Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 of a best of 3 between Gonzo and ZZ in the semi-finals of the Season 2 playoffs of the Steel Division League. In this one they are playing on Sianno, and on the red side on our left, playing on the allied team, we have Gonzo using the 29th Tank Corps and the Vanguard deployment type. On our right, in the blue team, playing on the Axis side, we have ZZ using the 21st Panzer and the Vanguard deployment type. So the map bans for this series are as follows. ZZ banned Haroshaye, Brest West, and Góra Kalvária, and Gonzo banned Lenina, Slutsk, and Slutsk East. Now I particularly find Gonzo's bans interesting, that he banned both of the Slutsk maps. And that kind of shows that he doesn't necessarily like to play over the open maps and maybe prefers more close range, sort of medium range maps. And considering he's playing the 29th Tank Corps, that's kind of interesting because it counteracts that thought as well. Anyway, moving on to game bans, or the division bans, sorry. Gonzo banned ZZ from playing the 78th Sturm, the 25th Panzer Grenadier, the Fallschirmpanzer Hermann Göring, and Gruppe Hartneck. And then ZZ banned Gonzo from playing the 3rd Guards Tank Corps, the 26th Guards Rifles, the 84th Guards Rifles, and the 1st Polish Infantry. So it looks like they're pretty meta bans, especially the 78th Sturm and 3rd Guards Tank Corps, almost always banned because of their 78th Sturm has really strong infantry with the MP44 infantry and an abundance of it, as well as the ability to take out harder targets with things like Nashorns. And then the 3rd Guards Tank Corps, just a really good all-round division with some IS-2s, with strong infantry capabilities. So both of those are often off the table. 25th Panzer Grenadier, decent artillery, but mainly comes down to their use of strong recon vehicles and the fact that they have a lot of fast early game play. And then the 26th Guards, again a nice all-round division. Same goes for 84th and Hermann Göring. Same old across the board. They're all just really good, all-round, strong, potentially aggressive divisions. But we're left with the 29th Tank Corps and the 21st Panzer, which are two divisions I don't think we've seen so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're played, especially both with Vanguard deployment type. Not often you see both of these divisions with Vanguard deployment type. Myself personally, I play a lot of 3-3-4-4, so often they would be balanced, or 21st Panzer recently, I see a lot of V for Victory. But in this case, nope, just pure old Vanguard. So Gonzo with the 29th, it does have access to the IS-2s, the 1943 variants, but they might get countered by the King Tigers on the side of the 21st, so maybe not choosing to bring those in because of that. Going to be deciding to bring on the bottom side here for Gonzo the T-34-85 1943. He's going to have ahead of that 3 units of Tanko Thessaloniki in the M2A1 half-tracks. They have the 50 cals on them. There's going to be 2 of the 76mm infantry guns and a 45mm AT gun on the bottom side. To the bottom side town, he has 4 units of Ognemachiki 2-man flamer squads going in, with the PTRS squad there, the 2 Tanko Thessaloniki, and the T-34-85 1943. Further up, to the top side town, he's going to have 2 units of Ognemachiki with the PTRS-41, 2 infantry guns, and the ZIS-2. And on the very top side, 2 more infantry guns, 45mm and the Stralki. And you can see how much, in this case, the deployment is favouring these infantry guns that Gonzo has placed down. Over on the side of ZZ, on the top, he has 3 units of flamers, the Flammenwerfer there, the MG42. Further down, 3 more units of Flammenwerfer, followed up by 4 units of Ersatztruppen. There's going to be 2 MG42s, Pak 38, 4 units of SBW 233s, and the other Pak 38 at the back there. Interesting to see these in play. Not a personal fan of them, but we'll see how ZZ makes use of them. They do have really good HEs, so great for taking out support weapons. I think on mass they would actually do pretty well to take out light AT guns and stuff. But yeah, we'll see how ZZ uses those. As that's Struppen further down, And then for the middle town, or the bottom side town, sorry, multiple units of Ersatztruppen. Looks like ZZ is still deploying a little bit. And the Panzer going with Panzerfaust. And on the very bottom, a Pioneer, 3 units of Ersatztruppen, and the Pak 38. So if you look at the map as a whole, I'm a little worried for Gonzo that he will struggle to control the top side of the map because of, like, if a King Tiger comes in, there's not really much he has to contest it. Even the IS-2s can't really do the job properly. So Gonzo's going to have to find other ways to get around that, and I potentially see him making strong use of those T-34s on the bottom side to make a push down here, whilst maybe relinquishing some ground on the top, because this town, it starts on the side of Gonzo, but since ZZ maybe has stronger units to control open ground, these may fall very easily in favour of ZZ. So it's going to come down to these use of 233s early on, and then whatever else ZZ decides to bring in later on. He does have access to the Panzer IVs, of course, in abundance. There are things like Rheinwerfers and stuff that he can use to put down massive fields of smoke and also pin down enemy support weapons nice and quick. I'm a real fan of the Rheinwerfer, so I'd like to see ZZ make use of it. On the side of Gonzo, I don't think his artillery support's that good, so we'll probably just see him ramming into ZZ on the ground and going from there. And we're off. Okay, so let's have a look at where these troops are heading. On the bottom side here, looks like all of these infantry are kind of pushing towards this area. That seems to just be like a quick unload at position order. A bunch of troops obviously going into the town. Very aggressive play into the center flag on the top side town. The Flammenwerfer may be stopping short on the very top flag. For Gonzo, he's already unloaded some of his infantry guns. His infantry is generally more aggressive across the board. He's going straight onto the flags with the two-man flamers. Especially on this bottom side, he's managed to get across the crossroad, get his Ognemechiki into position, and this might actually cause a lot of issues with these Ersatztruppen. Anyway, let's pay attention to this top side engagement. The two MG42s unloading there, multiple Ersatz unloading on the road together. These two infantry guns could do a lot of damage. ZZ really needs to take care of that ASAP, because otherwise that could provide problems as he continues to push in. The 233s moving up. One of them actually left behind, not sure if that's intentional. The 45mm gun has a lot of work to do here to try and clean those up. On the bottom side, the Tanko Desaniki pushing into the Ersatztruppen. They do have the Molotovs to unseat the Ersatztruppen from these buildings, and they are going to do just that, get the surrender as well. There's no leaders here. That's actually something that's kind of interesting about both of these deployments, is there's no leaders and there's no commanders. So both sides able to surrender the other's troops very, very quickly indeed. But the 233s, they make short work of that 45mm AT gun once they get line of sight. Really nicely done, and now these infantry guns probably going to suffer the same fate. There is another infantry gun down on this bottom side. These infantry guns up here, one of them down as well. These 233s working out very, very nicely so far. One of them has died, but the rest still alive, and another infantry gun gone to the MG42s. Now the ZIS-2 has moved forwards. This has to do the job. He's turned off the APCR so that he can get the one-shot kills in there, but with both the MGs and the 233 firing, that's going to make the ZIS-2 very inaccurate, and, well, down it goes to the 233s. So nice moves from ZZ on the top side so far, making great use of those 233s. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Gonzo pushing back ZZ's infantry. The Ersatztruppen forced to fall back. The Ognemechiki managing to push them out, although the Tanko Desaniki did take quite a lot of damage in the process. T-34, 85, 1943 trying to engage the M4 down the road. Is going to take a first shot there. I don't think it actually managed to hit. M4 coming in on the bottom side as well. Pak 38 there looking to maybe hit these M2A1 half tracks. Wonder what Gonzo is going to try and do with these half tracks. Maybe he could try and load up the flamers and move them forwards a bit safer. There is the Panzer, of course, with the Panzerfaust. That might get in the way. Meanwhile, on the top side, well, these Thrauki are in trouble, that's for sure. 233s. Are going to be countered by the Su-57 and the T-34 85 1943. There is, however, two Pak 38s here, and these Su-57s might struggle to not only kill the Pack 38s, but also be killed by them. They will probably go down very quickly. They don't have much armor at all, and the Pack 38s are very, very fast firing. They have a great rate of fire. The T-34-85 did go down very quickly indeed. The 233s do have heat shells, the 100mm of penetration heat shells, and those rip through the frontal armor of that T-34-85. The T-34-85 is pushing down through this town. Look at that. Right, armored engagement coming through here. The motorized infantry pushing forwards. Has taken care of that M4 on the road there. Another one going to be coming in. Actually, that's just the half track. Never mind. The M4 is actually coming down to the bottom side. Pack 38 going to be engaged by both of the infantry guns and the T-34. That means it's probably going to go down. Unless it can escape in time. Those last two shots, will they do the job? They will. Pack 38 down. And the Tanko Thessaloniki overrunning the Ersatztruppen in the close range engagements. So, Gonzo struggling to solidify his position on this top side at the moment. ZZ putting him under a lot of pressure. But getting these three Stroki into the heavy cover here might give him just something to stop the Ersatztruppen continuing their push. In the meantime, he's got to get some forces in here to counteract the use of these 233s. He may be saved by the fact that these are getting low on heat shells. But the Pack 38 still in position. Looks like Gonzo's just trying to push up into the center to see how much ground he can find. But he's kind of just sitting his half-track there to avoid the front line being pushed in. The Ersatztruppen fully pushed out of this town now. Tanko Thessaloniki really overrunning it. T-34-85 did get transmission damage, which is going to be a pain for Gonzo. Removes a lot of its ability to move about and reposition. But yeah, this 45mm coming in, that will be have to use to take out the 259 and the M4s potentially. Tanko Thessaloniki still getting the better of infantry down here. The Pioneers, they are going to take another Molotov, which may stop the use of the HE. And the Pioneer, yeah, didn't even get its HE off, which is really nasty. And Gonzo controls that flag for the time being. It's currently 13-11 for ZZ. And considering how much ground he's made in the top side, you'd expect it to be a greater disparity than that. Two more Pack 38s on the main road. They are going to make short work of the Su-57 that was there. These T-34 1942s should be able to tank the shots from the Pack 38s in the frontal armor. Nice use of Zhuchok though from Gonzo, bringing that in order to strafe down these AT guns. Another one looking for a kill. Does manage to do it in one run. Very nicely done indeed. But look at this. The big boys on the way, everybody. This is what we love to see. Oh yes, King Tiger rolling off into the distance. These T-34s do not know what awaits them. I'm really curious actually how Gonzo's going to decide to deal with that King Tiger. Zhuchok going to be coming around for another strafing round. Looks like the last Pack 38 is taken care of though. These SBW 233s are relatively low on ammo, and the PTRS squads coming in handy. Gonna take out one. Can they take out the second? And the 233 is just completely surrounded, doesn't know which way to face. And the Ersatztruppen there taken care of. ZZ, he made that push up towards this objective, but just couldn't quite get control on top of the hill soon enough. And that allowed Gonzo to take advantage of this high ground in order to surround the troops on the low ground and just utterly decimated them there with the support of these two Zhuchoks. And they can also take out the SBW 233s, in this case loses line of sight as the 233 gets behind the cover there. Meanwhile on the bottom side, the Tanko Thessaloniki, they are doing so damn well. Look at this, 3 units of Ersatztruppen. There was another squad of Tankos that have already gone down. But they are just clean in-house. And also Zhuchok coming in to clean up that Ersatztruppen as they try and do a runner. If Gonzo can just pin down this squad, he'll probably just surrender it. Oh, the T-34-85 there, got to be careful. Side shots coming in from the 233 and the 259. Two Panzer IVGs engaging it from distance as well. These Panzer IVs might actually have decent penetration from that range. The great thing about 2-star Panzer IVs is they are fantastic snipers, and because they have the 135mm of penetration, they can get through most medium armor on the side of the allies. But yeah, Zuchok's coming in. Looks like one maybe evac bingoed there. 259 has gone down. 233 still trying to get shots in, but keeps getting stopped. The Pak 43, or the AT gun here that was a 45mm, did die earlier. Meanwhile, on the top side, we see an engagement of infantry. We got the Ersatztruppen versus Strelki. Now, Strelki should defeat Ersatztruppen at this range. And this is Gonzo's best counter to the abundance of Ersatztruppen, 100%. So, nice to see him making good use of those. The only issue might be the Flammenwerfer, but it's only 1 health, and also the T-34s can fire at it. So, yeah, that goes down nice and quickly. So that's going to clean up this infantry and give back Gonzo his high ground completely. But still has to deal with the 3 Panzer IVGs on the very top side. Also the King Tiger that's now going to cover the ridge, well, pretty much the rest of the game, unless he can kill it somehow. Right, on the bottom side, ZZ moving in with the M4s, covering the advance of 2 Ersatztruppen. He does have the Pioneers further back, and he's also bringing up the Panzerguns and another Pioneer there, so should be able to clean out this Tanko. The Tanko Thessaloniki, they do have the Molotovs, but they have run out, so no use for those anymore. Panzer IVGs managed to destroy that squad nice and quickly. Panzer IVGs trying to help against a lot of this infantry as they've pushed forwards. They're not going to be able to pin down the Strelki before they surrender the Ersatztruppen. But currently 14-10 for ZZ. Now, Gonzo, he has got control of these 2 flags in this town. He's also putting pressure onto this flag, which is why it is relatively even at the moment, even though ZZ controls both of the top side flags. And this flag, actually, with 1 single flamer. He's sitting there in the smoke, all on his lonesome, hoping to God that a T-34 does not find him. So the Tanko is taken care of. Looks like these Pioneers, they could probably be reloaded into their half-tracks and thrown at the ranks of Gonzo. There is only the T-34-85 here and the 76. If the Panzer IVs and M4s push in unison, it might just work. IS-2 actually moving up the main road into the town. Looks like Gonzo's just going to solidify his position there. Maybe get himself a position across this lake so that he can engage the armor as ZZ pushes forwards. So now the King Tiger coming into play. Not sure what it's firing at. Looks like probably just some infantry. Yep. But the poor Flammenwerfer, looks like he actually went up in flames. And looks like Gonzo's going to take it back to 13-11. Now that doesn't really affect the ticks in terms of tickets. Going to bring in some Avtos to his bottom side, but finds himself in the open as he's forced to unload. Panzer IVs there killing the first unit of Avtos in their half track. These ones now probably going to get slaughtered by the abundance of MG fire from the Panzer Grenadiers. Those MG42s at range are very, very difficult to deal with. 233 also covering those. Then that's going to make it even more difficult, and the second Avto does actually go down. We are seeing the use of 173mm off-map here from ZZ, going to be landing on this town. That will definitely pin down the Tanko Thessaloniki, and in theory ZZ could take advantage of the pin down units with the Panzer IVs, and it looks like he might be just doing that. It's going to be fast moving up this road, but Gonzo going to be driving an IS-2 in position. These Panzer IVs are going to question that decision and certainly reverse as quickly as they can. A big issue here is that ZZ doesn't really have the infantry required to get into position. Going to be bombing the ZIS-2 with his Focke-Wulf 190 there. These Panzergrens can't get down the road very easily, so they're not going to be able to take advantage of that off-map. Best thing for ZZ to do now would be get the Panzergrens into position first, then off-map again, and then use the Panzergrens to push forwards. Nice kill onto that ZIS-2 though with a bombing strike. Oh, that's going to be a T-34 going down to the Panzer IVs at range. Also the M4's getting involved, potentially a side shot there. This T-34 in a sticky position because it's being fired at by two M4s and the Panzer IV. I'd say priority target's probably that Panzer IV further back, but nice kill onto the M4. That's for sure. Oh no, that's going to be a side shot if he's not careful. And another M4 coming in on the bottom side. Oh, ZZ's use of armor here is fantastic. Getting angles onto Gonzo's tanks and certainly taking advantage. He's got the 76mm to kill now, and then he's pretty much opened up this bottom side. Just one Strelki DP holding that flag. Another T-34 85 1943 on the way. ZIS-3 nicely positioned to take out a couple of these tanks as they move forwards. Nice ambush there. Also, the IS-2 is making its way down. So both of the Panzer IVs are dead. The M4 might be able to finish it off, but the IS-2, it's getting into position. Ooh, that's an interesting off-map from ZZ. I'm not sure if he expected to kill the ZIS-3 or not, but maybe just wants to get rid of any support weapons left in those tree lines. Personally, I think it would have been better for him to use the off-map to accompany his Panzergrens, so that he doesn't have to deal with the close-range infantry like the Tanko Dasaniki. Oh, that's going to be another half-track going down there. Looks like this infantry pushed forwards very aggressively, and ZZ, well, kind of fell into Gonzo's little trap there. Obviously, ZZ did really well to break down the armor that Gonzo had in position, but didn't really expect to be side shot and have two of his tanks killed off. Also now the Zuchok's coming in to hit the Panzer Grenadiers. These probably won't get into position, nope, they're going down. But there are still a reasonably healthy Tanko Dasaniki there. On the Machiki, there's the Strelki with DP that aren't pinned either. They create a medium range. King Tiger on the top side, looks like it was trying to push forwards a little bit, but transmission damage now. Probably just took a frontal shot from a T-34 and got transmission damage. Sometimes that can happen. Kind of annoying though. I already mentioned it on the bottom side. Whenever a tank like takes transmission damage, it just makes them really difficult to reposition. Leaves them vulnerable to artillery and airstrikes. And so, yeah, he's going to want to probably fix that up at some point. Zuchok's going to clean up some pioneers there. I'm really curious to see where the last off-map strike's going to land. The Panzer IV. Second one's going to be strafed. First one did die to the IS-2 as it moved into position, with the T-34s coming in on the bottom side and the IS-2 pushing in from the top. Oh no! It's going to be a side shot onto the IS-2 from the Panzer IV. Lovely stuff from ZZ. The Panzer IV, what a hero. Goes down in flames to another T-34 85. Damn, what a shot there onto the IS-2 Conrotti. Oh, that's going to relieve a lot of pressure down here for ZZ, as now he only has to focus on one direction once again, and can probably bring in some more tanks down the road. Yeah, he's actually bringing in this King Tiger. Another King Tiger on the field, guys, coming up the main road. Panzer IV on the bottom side. One thing that is kind of interesting is the lack of AA on the side of ZZ. Now, generally, in a 21st Panzer, the only AA that you really have access to is like Gepards in Phase A. Generally, that's what people choose. So maybe now we're into Phase B. We might see like an SDK Z71, but we've already been in Phase B for looks like, yeah, 7 minutes. Over 7 minutes. So if ZZ really cared about these Zuchoks, then he would have done something about it already. Either way, M4 on this bottom side in a bit of a sticky spot. Close range engagement against the T-34. Gonna bounce off the frontal armor. T-34 85 gets the job done. Meanwhile, these T-34 85s, they can't really push up any further unless he has infantry ahead of himself. Now these Avtos tried to move up, but obviously they've been hit pretty damn hard. We are going to see the Ace coming in here. Just a T-34 85 leader. Reshetinov? Reshetnikov? There we go. My terrible pronunciation of that name. Yeah, that's going to provide some leadership to this bottom side. We don't see a commander yet, though, on either side still. So, yeah, a very, very stark contrast to some of the other games that we've seen in the tournament so far in terms of the use of leaders. ZZ just bringing in pure 2-star Panzer 4Gs, not using leaders or like a leader Panzer 4 to make them 2 stars. They're just straight up 2-star veterancy. Pack 43. Oh, this could get nasty. That's going to be shooting straight at the T-34-85 leader. T-34-85 has come around on the bottom side. What a cheeky move here from Gonzo. Looking for the shot onto the M4 there. Looks like this T-34-85 is going to be able to back off from the Pack 43. Does manage to find the M4 kill, but the Panzergrens, they're going to have a Panzerfaust on target very, very shortly. Unless Gonzo can manage to work his way around that troop. Nope, Panzerfaust is going to be fired. T-34-85 goes down. Pack 43 currently now firing at the Avtos with the Pioneers machine gun, firing at those as they run across the open. I don't think that Avto on the top side is going to make it, but the 3 have made it on the bottom side, and they are going to be able to probably take care of the Pioneers. So many transports and stuff being killed here, but I think most of the infantry is getting unloaded. T-34, well, actually, sorry, that was the King Tiger just smashing the Avtos. Oh no, look at that. Beautiful job with the surrender there. Not even sure what caused that. Was that just the Pioneer's grenade? Something just surrendered both of those Avtos so quickly. Wow. And there's just one doing a runner and the other one's trying to get in. But I don't think he'll make it because the Pioneers will probably start engaging them. Never mind. It looks like the Pioneers don't quite have the line of sight to do so. Meanwhile, on the top side, I think Gonzo is still struggling to really push across the open here. Again, that King Tiger covering the open ground so damn nicely. This King Tiger here is just going to be able to cover across this lake, this whole position on the bottom side, stop Gonzo's T-34s from pushing through. And another one going to be going down to a Panzer 4. This must be getting very frustrating for Gonzo right now. The issue with these T-34 1943s is, one, they have pretty low rate of fire, and two, they don't have APCR. So you can't do the APCR tricking where you turn off the APCR and make them fire faster, and also just don't fire as fast in general. So yeah, the Panzer IVs here, they have a decent rate of fire of 7 rounds per minute, and they're very accurate because they're coming in at 2-star veterancy. And with the 135%, 135mm of penetration, they can get through the frontal armor reasonably well of a T-34-85. So yeah, ZZ making great use of those, and it's really good to see. Pioneers versus Avtos. Looks like Gonzo's going to wait for the second Avto squad before he makes a push onto the Pioneers. Going to be bringing in his own off-map now, and there's going to be 3 Avtos that are coming to reinforce the town, because we see the last off-map strike coming down from ZZ onto Gonzo's units. ZZ has managed to take back control of this flag. Currently going to be a victory for ZZ in 15 minutes and 51 seconds. On the top side, Panzer IV-G going to be shot at by the PTRDs of the Strelki DP. There is a good chance that the PTRD can kill a Panzer IV in the side armor, but definitely not in the front armor. Very unlikely. That bombing strike from the Ju-88S1 there, not really doing the job, doesn't quite hit the mark. Only pins down one of the Strelki DP, but I don't think it's really going to matter because neither of those can push forwards against a Panzer IV. This Focke-Wulf 190 misses its bombing strike, or just kind of bails from the bombing strike, so that's going to be evac. This one also losing its target by the looks of things. Gotta be careful that he doesn't get too close to the air spawn, otherwise Zuchok could just come out and just wreck the Focke-Wulf 190. Here comes that off map. This might just be the 76mm off map, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, the Avto is going to unload here. They really need to get into cover ASAP. because there are a lot of shots coming down the road, both from the King Tiger and from the 88. Okay, they're on top of the Panzergrenz and the MG42. Will they be able to do that in time? Might be able to kill the MG, maybe, but the SPW-233 with its decent rate of fire, HE shells getting the job done. The Avto is forced to fall back. These two Avtos now pushing up on the bottom. The Pioneer does get its grenade off. Will probably kill this Avto. Maybe not. It's going to survive on 2 health. Pioneers go down. Next up, Panzergrenz. It's easy. Going to want to engage both Panzergrenz at the same time. Probably onto the single Avto, or the 2-man Avto squad at first. Oh, never mind. Going to just be backing off. Oh, nice bombing strike there. Does actually just pin the Avto. Doesn't have to fight it at all. Moves this Panzergren up so that he can be covered by the Panzer IV-H. And that would have been perfect if the Panzergrens were in the light cover on the other side of the road, but nice movement nonetheless. And that will allow ZZ to clean up those Avto squads. So that stops Gonzo's push on the bottom side. Meanwhile, Gonzo's off map, continuously coming down on this side of the town. The RQDP now forced to return fire, and we see the IS-2 1943 on the way to the top. So if Gonzo can maybe push through this top area, even through where there aren't any flags, he might be able to get into a position to find a close range engagement with the King Tiger, which might be a way to shut it down. The King Tiger wouldn't really be able to move out of that position very quickly due to the transmission damage. T-34-85 still pushing forwards on the bottom side. RQDP now pushing up. I'm a little concerned that both players will be getting low on infantry availability. It is something that is prevalent in both of these divisions. The 21st Panzer, very limited amount of Panzergrenz Pioneers, and the 29th Tank Corps, I think, just has like a couple, probably like 5-6 cards of infantry. So that can be like Autos, the RQDP, the Tankos. Obviously the Ognemochiki, they come in the support tab, so that's a bit different, but Gonzo's got a lot of these Stralki squads, and I think that's how he's trying to make up for his availability at the moment. So one of those Zutok's going to be going for the Panzergren there, one of them hitting the Panzer IV-G. The Boston's going to go for the bombing strike onto the King Tiger. That is one way that I guess he could deal with the King Tiger. A bombing strike. Weaken the King Tiger over time. Eventually one of those bombs will get the kill. But that's going to be the Pak-38 taken care of, with the Panzer IV-Gs coming under pressure from the Zhuchok, sorry. A-20 Zhuchok. It might allow the T-34s to get the kill here. But at that range, they've got some decent accuracy. T-34 does take a hit, but gets the Panzer IV in return. The Boston going to do a runner. Ju-88 coming in with its bombs, looking to stop the infantry in its tracks. Zhuchok going in for another strafing run there. T-34-76 is really just running up that top side. ZZ reinforcing with 2 MG42s. They're just going to bump into the same T-34. This is a really, really nice move here from Gonzo. He's managed to take control of this point on the top side of the town, out of line of sight of the King Tiger. And now he's just running up the T-34-76 1942 toward this flag. And it looks like he might just take control of the top side of the map, which is not exactly the part of the map that I expected him to take. But this King Tiger, it's really difficult for it to move position and counteract this T-34-76. So ZZ is forced to bring in the Panzer IV-H here that might not even get the job done. Now Zhuchok coming in with the strafing run onto the King Tiger, trying to just pin it and make sure it can't do too much. Then maybe Gonzo can move up with the IS-2 and get a kill. Because the IS-2 with the 200mm of penetration can penetrate a King Tiger at sort of the mid-distance. But it needs to make sure that the King Tiger can't fight back, because the King Tiger has a lot more chance to penetrate an IS-2 than an IS-2 does to penetrate a King Tiger. Now this T-34-85 could be the key to victory here if Gonzo keeps that on the move and it doesn't die and he gets behind the King Tiger, then maybe he could have found a side or rear shot. But nope, the Panzer IV comes in here, gets the shot from the high ground, and well, the problems of Sianno continue occurring. This high ground on the top side, the bane of both players. Meanwhile in this town, one Avto standing in the way of multiple squads from ZZ. Seeing off map come in from ZZ now himself. Looking to pin down the Avto so that he can move forwards with the Panzergrans and not take too much damage. On the bottom side, all things quiet for the time being. You can see how both players are just ignoring this bottom side now. Like, no movement at all. Both players reacting to this play from Gonzo. And this is what Gonzo, I think, is very, very good at in his play. Is he makes the enemy react to him. So even this, like, this Ju-88 isn't cheap. It's 155 points, and all that's coming in to take out is this T-34-76. And yes, he's going to kill it, but at what cost? Because now Gonzo's just going to continuously pile infantry and T-34s into this engagement to try and make ground. The Zhuchok's going to continuously strafe the King Tiger to stop that from being a threat on the open ground, and eventually these Strelki might be able to push down and capture this flag as well. There's only the MG42 actually sitting in the way, and that's not even in cover actually, it's just actually in the open, so the Strelki will make short work of that. The MG42 is going to be engaging some of these Strelki DP. Gonzo's going to try and get as far up as he can. All the IS-2 there taking care of the Panzer IV that was firing down. Nicely done indeed. Two Strelki have made it all the way to the heavy cover. It's going to put Gonzo in a nice position there. Force ZZ to push him out. And the great thing about Strelki DP is they do have the PTRD, which means these 259s may not be as much of a threat as they would be to a standard Strelki squad. All the Avtos here, they managed to get a little ambush onto the Panzergrans, but no, they're going to go down. And the last one surrenders. Almost took out that Panzer Grenadier squad. This one Strelki DP now standing in the way of ZZ capturing the bottom side town completely. Focke-Wulf 190 coming in for the bombing strike onto the Strelki DP. Looks like those did move forwards and capture that flag, so we're now back to 12 to 12. And the game is even. So no tickets throwing in either direction. And Gonzo obviously at a big disadvantage in that if he loses another flag again, he will continue to be closer and closer to defeat. ZZ so far putting up a great fight, has managed to take out the infantry here, may allow him to push through. There's only the off-map vehicle actually holding the front line there. Strelki DP being brought in, only one to the bottom side. You can see how limited Gonzo is on his infantry availability, because otherwise you'd probably think that he'd bring in maybe more than one for that bottom side. With the Strelki DP, one of them is going to be taken out by these two 259s. One of them did get crew panics by the PTRD. The bombing strike going to miss the mark as the other Strelki DP move up. Or the T-34s engaging the King Tiger from a distance is still not a good idea at this point. As soon as that gets his loader back, going to be some dead T-34s. Unless the Zhuchok comes in and starts strafing that again whilst that engagement's going on, I don't think that's going to end too well. Maybe, actually, this is a plan from Gonzo to distract the King Tiger enough so that he can get the T-34 1943 in position, but I think ZZ will be smart enough to make sure that he targets the the IS-2 first of all, because the rest aren't really a threat. However, so far, not the case. One shot was fired towards the T-34s. That's another thing that makes the King Tiger so much better than IS-2, is its rate of fire. 5 round per minute rate of fire versus 3 round per minute rate of fire. Bombing strike comes in from the Boston to try and pin it down. Oh, the Ju-88 coming in for the strike there. Does manage to kill the T-34-85, but misses the IS-2. Damn, this is a tense engagement on that top side. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, you can see ZZ leaves his units in transports for a little while. Obviously, very concerned about his King Tiger here. Second Boston comes in, does pin down the King Tiger this time around, but it is going to be able to reverse into the light cover and probably be safe for the time being. But it looks like Gonzo is going to take the opportunity to fast move straight towards it, charge it down, maybe manage to get the side shots going. Be an absolute hero play if you can. T-34-85, 1943. Is being engaged by the Panzer IV-H at a distance. Does need to be careful. Probably wants to stop and find that target. Velki currently helping take out the Panzer Grenadiers. The A-20 there with the close support is going to help out a lot. Stelky DP on the bottom side are going to be pressed on by the Panzer Grenadiers. T-59 going to be wrecking the Stelky DP, and these recon vehicles, both the 233s and the 259s, they've been very prevalent throughout this game, and ZZ's been making great use of them. Pack 43 does manage to take out one of the T-34-85s on the bottom side. That's going to leave 2 left, and looks like ZZ is starting to make moves. Gonzo definitely doesn't have as many forces as ZZ does on this bottom side, and ZZ can take advantage massively at the moment if he wants to, and that could break things open completely. Looks like the bombing strike managed to kill... Actually, no, that was probably the MGs, actually. I think it was the MGs from the Panzergrens managed to kill off that truck. The T-34s do get close, but the King Tiger, still a menace, does get the kill. And now, 9 minutes left till Gonzo loses the game. Unfortunately for him, I think he is extremely low on infantry availability, and ZZ just has that little bit more left on the map, which is allowing him to sort of win out in this engagement. The PTRS doesn't get the job done onto the 259. This 259 could discover the Strelky out of its grenade range, I think, if it moved closer. Probably not going to matter though, because as soon as the Panzergrens reveal the Strelky, the 259s will get the job done. Okay, there we go, the recon spots it. And goodbye to that Strelky. Oh, saved by the T-34-85. Does move back just to cover that off. Strelky going to sit in position for the time being. Gonzo bringing up an Su-57 and another T-34-85, probably just to hold that flag for the time being. Zuchok coming in again for the strafing run. I'm so surprised how these just haven't been countered at all throughout this game so far. Both sides, the aircraft just freely firing on their opponents and freely bombing. That cluster bomb, munitions, they completely missed the mark. Does take out a Panzer IV as well with that T-34-85. Nice job by Gonzo. Takes it back to 12-12. This IS-2 ready to take out the Panzer IV. There it goes. Nicely done. Opens up this bottom side. Zuchok continuously going for the Panzergrens. This is one thing that interests me, is that ZZ does have these Focke-Wulfs with the 250 kilogram bombs. Why does he not allow these to stay in the air and engage the Zuchok? And that is something that's quite interesting to me. Now, ZZ has of course started to invest in these 88s, which is going to basically stop the Zuchoks from staying in the sky for so long. But yeah, I feel like with those two Focke-Wulf 190s with the 250 kilogram bombs, he may have been able to shoot down the Zuchoks. Either way, on the bottom side, ZZ still making moves, still very, very aggressive down here. Panzer IV will be able to take out the Strelky DP very quickly, although the 45 mil here, APCR shot will definitely penetrate, and he manages to get the armor crack with that. Nicely done. And yeah, down goes the Panzer IV. But the Strelky DP in still a bit of a bad position, and the Panzergrens do kill off the AT gun regardless. Now meanwhile, more infantry actually coming in onto the top side for Gonzo. So Gonzo now going for this flag. This is not a flag that you see contested very often, but looks like he might be able to just get the 13-11. Needs to unload sooner than later for sure. Oh, the Panzergren's doing a runner there. Not probably the best move. Oh, except maybe for the bombing strike. It's going to miss the mark. Panzergren's going down very quickly. Panzergrens, I think, would have been better off just staying in the building. But either way, the 88's going to take out one of the Aptos as they continue to try and push up. U-88 whiff in there, but yeah, 13-11. in favour of Gonzo. The bottom side looking completely open, really, for ZZ to push forwards, but ZZ obviously not knowing that. He's going to have to spread out his infantry and continue to press forwards, use his King Tiger to support, just to be sure. Not taking advantage just yet, though. 2-3-1s moving in. I think the big issue here for ZZ is he's still reacting to Gonzo's play on the top side, rather than making his own on the bottom. Again, this is something that Gonzo does very well, is he puts the pressure on the enemy player and forces them to react to him. And that's allowing him pretty much to hold on to this bottom side because ZZ is being pretty slow on the trigger. So IS-2, 1943, going to make another push up the hill. Does need to be careful of that Ju-88 cluster bomber because at some point it will hit the mark, especially onto like an IS-2 1943, and that will leave the gates open for the King Tigers to roll forwards and finish the job onto the rest of the armor. This King Tiger is still alive that was covering the open. Could probably move forwards and continue to cover the open if it wanted to. We're going to see the A-20C Boston coming in. Potential for that to be shot down if these 88s hit the mark. But it looks like they're kind of off target at the moment. Boston will be safe for now. Well, that was a close shot. Okay, the Cobra coming in onto the top side. Not really going to be able to do too much. And it seems pretty quiet at the moment. ZZ investing more Panzer Grenadiers into this bottom side push. And the thing is, he's managed to move all the way through with the Panzergrens, with Panzerfaust and these Panzergrens. I'm very surprised that he's bringing in more infantry at the moment down here. And he's just playing it maybe patiently now on the top side. Yeah, Gonzo's still making moves. Gonzo's still pushing forwards. Building up a push. Bringing in more Strelki. I thought Gonzo was out of infantry, but apparently not. Finally bringing in the commander. Look at that. Better late than never, I say. I think ZZ hasn't even brought his commander in yet. And the T-34-85 forced to back off there. Doesn't know what infantry is in here. Doesn't want to lose that to a Panzerfaust. So relinquishes that objective to ZZ. ZZ actually unloading his infantry early here. Really being cautious. Maybe he didn't realize that he killed the 45mm in this tree line. Yeah, being incredibly cautious with all of his infantry down here. That is going to allow Gonzo to get some Strelki in to contest. Meanwhile, on the top side, Strelki now pushing forwards with the tanks. We're going to see the Ju-88 come in. There we go. Will I get the kill this time around? Oh! The IS-2 just about dodges it. Lands in the middle of those cluster strikes. Damn. It was so close it destroyed my voice. Excuse me. Right, 85 on the 88. Still going to be a threat to the 1943 at close range, but the bombing strike there actually going to stop that being the case. Nicely done. The 88 on the top of the hill. I'm not sure if that's the same one further down that kind of pushed down in that direction, but the Cobra's now coming in to make a strafing run. Or the cannon there of the Cobra does actually take care of the 231. Now Zuchok coming in with a strafing run onto the 88. The T-34-85 also able to help out, actually is engaging the Panzergrens. Now ZZ finally forced to bring in an SDKF Z71. On the bottom, the Strelki that come in to reinforce. They are being forced back by the Panzer Grenadiers from a distance. T-34-85 still providing cover there. 2 more Strelki on the way. Meanwhile, on the top side, Gonzo's still making a push. I don't know how he does it. Like, he comes out of nowhere with a really strong push. And this one was very much choreographed. He put together a really nice wave of infantry to support his 2 tanks. And now he's trying to make use of that. The Panzer IV going to go down there to the IS-2. The Cobra coming in for more strafing runs, but the 88's back up again, and of course the SDKZ-71 is further back. JU-88 coming in with a bombing strike onto the T-34. Doesn't manage to pin it down. With this 88 back on its feet, the 1943 needs to be really careful. Zujok coming in, direct fire onto the 88. Oh, that's so risky. Especially with the SDKZ-71, you can see how much damage Zuchok has taken. The A-20, will it go down? It might do. Oh, down, that's going to be close. It's up to the 88s now. It's out of range of the SDKZ-71. Oh, double whammy. Goodbye, A-20 Zuchok. Finally, it's dealt with. So, with this push, I'm surprised that the Strelki and the Oknemachigi also haven't pushed forwards in the meantime, especially once both of the SBW-231s went down. But you can see ZZ still putting strong emphasis on the use of these recon vehicles. And I mentioned in the banning phase how they get rid of the 25th Panzer Grenadier quite often, or at least Gonzo banned it away. And it's for the same reason. It's because those recon vehicles can be really, really obnoxious. Either way, T-34-85 is right on top of these Panzer Grenadiers, realizes it doesn't have any Panzerfaust, and therefore can just drive straight up to them and do lots of damage. Strelki is on that point on the bottom side, so Gonzo holding on down here. Meanwhile, on the top side, I feel like Gonzo maybe didn't push as hard as he could have with all of this infantry. So that's interesting. Anyway, Strelki going to land on top of the 88. They should be able to kill it off. Once it is dead, the Panzer, or the 1943 IS-2 will be able to move forwards, and the T-34-85 as well. There is this Pak-43 that hasn't been spotted yet. That's currently sitting in the garden. Might be able to kill the T-34-85 if it moves towards this point. But currently 12 to 12 again. 45 minutes elapsed. And, wow. Still all to play for. It's kind of crazy. Panzer 4H's coming in for the bottom side. Looks like ZZ just continuously trying to reinforce against what is not many troops of Gonzo. And Gonzo somehow managing to hold on. I think it's just not being decisive enough, ZZ, on this bottom side. Maybe this will be what he needs. But he's got these 3 units of Panzergrens in position. Just attack move these forwards and he wins the ground in this case. Zuchok again having a go. The A-20 Zuchok there. SDKZ-71 forcing that one back. 2 Panzergrens coming in. Going to be sitting in these buildings on the top of the hill. Can absolutely decimate the Strelki should they push forwards. These Strelki might actually get caught out in a bad position. These 2 Strelki are in heavy cover, whilst the Panzergrens are in light cover, and regardless of what type of infantry it is, that's a big disadvantage to be at for the Panzergrens, especially when you have no veterancy. So, those Panzergrens going to be made short work of by Strelki. T-34-85 going to take out the 231 on top of the hill. There is still the King Tiger he's got to deal with up there, which may be the main reason that he can't push more aggressively with his armor. 2 more T-34-85s on the way though. These ones 1944s. Lovely. That's going to provide the 180 mils of penetration from the APCR shots. Just enough to maybe penetrate the King Tiger. I'm not sure if actually a 180 mil APCR can penetrate the 180 mils of frontal armor. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a pretty low penetration chance regardless. Focke-Wulf 190, G1 coming in with the bombing strike. Looks like that's probably going to hit this area. Often the bombing strike, when you look at the order, is past where it's going to land. So yeah, that landed right on this infantry. That's a little hit there to do a bit of extra damage. Still no significant AA on the side of Gonzo, although I lie completely. There are 4 37 mils here, sitting next to the commander, sorry, with 2-star veterancy. Well, the next plane that's coming in is probably going to go down. It looks like here, the A-20 Boston was almost a bait to get that Focke-Wulf shot down. Did manage to bomb this infantry on the ridge as well. This King Tiger moving into position. The Pak-43 looks like that did manage to take care of the T-34-85 here. Unless that was the King Tiger instead, but anyway, that's dealt with. Now we see on the bottom side off-map being used from ZZ. Not sure what that off-map vehicle is. Oh, it must be this one, the 105 mil. This Panzergren with Panzerfaust pushing all the way up. And gets killed. Doesn't unload in time. Oh, nice job there. Panzer IV takes care of the T-34-85. Off-map's going to come down. Panzergren should be able to clean up the star key. This is the sort of push he needed way sooner just to clean up that side. Meanwhile, though, Gonzo still in a scary position here on this top side. This 3's currently engaging the Panzer IV. Is under MG fire from the Panzer Grenadier. Panzer IV going to pin that down with the next shot. This is 3 not in line of sight. Looks like the Cobra's going to come in there for the strafing run. These Cobras are very, very cool. Wonder if it's going to go down for another one. The SDK Z71 up on that hill might be in line of sight when it goes in for a second strike, but the Panzergrens have come forwards from the edge of that tree line and actually killed that Ziz 3 while we've been watching this. So maybe the Cobra will attack those Panzergrens instead. Anyway, bottom side completely ruined. The Stalky pinned down. Panzergrens pushed through. Panzer IVs in abundance here. That's the flag in favor of ZZ. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left. I can't help but feel like ZZ made a meal out of that push on the bottom side. He really did. There's just such an abundance of troops here for ZZ compared to the forces of Gonzo. And this comes all the way back from when people used to play a war game and they were scared of what was ahead of them, or at least they were apprehensive, not necessarily scared. So they didn't push as hard as they probably could, and that caution could often lose people games. And in this case, I think ZZ is going to be lucky that it doesn't, because Gonzo's made a great push on this top side. Oh, that Ju-88 cluster bomber, not this time, going to come out to kill the IS-2 1943, and wow, goes down very quickly. Looks like ZZ bailed with his Ju-88, and his other bomber there managed to get a strike down onto the Strelki. Now ZZ forced to use the 105mm off map. Probably not going to be able to get kill though onto those tanks with that off map. Does manage to unload the leader. The infantry squad does go down though to the King Tiger. That 2-star veterancy will be vital if Gonzo wants to engage the King Tiger fairly. Currently 12 to 12. Gonzo still making a strong push. ZZ also coming in on this bottom side now pretty hard, but the Bostons aren't really covered down here further up. The 88s, one of these is actually out of ammunition. The other one struggling to hold the ground on its own. Oh, Panzergrens, Panzerfaust, T-34-85. Is it going to go down? It is. A lovely kill there. It's going to make things so much easier for ZZ. Also, the Panzer IVs helping out pin down the Strelki, holding the objective here. But Gonzo currently 13 to 11. He's managed to push into this area. Got to be very careful with the King Tiger here in the SDK Z71. Damn. Gonzo still at it. Still pushing hard. Don't count him out just yet, guys. The Panzergrens gonna go down. This point also being pushed now. I think basically what's ended up happening is Gonzo's put all of his effort into this topside push. ZZ's put all of his effort into the bottom side push. And it's more or less just a race for ZZ to finish the game before Gonzo somehow makes an insane comeback. Because currently Gonzo 14 to 10. And oh, the bailout onto the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV manages to get its last shot into the T-34-85. And damn, what a nice kill there for the Panzer IV. Definitely going to make it easier when these come around the corner to engage the King Tiger. Eventually that's going to have to happen. Pak 43 is also getting into position though. Going to be a hard engagement for Gonzo to make. T-34-85 snipes the off-map vehicle. Probably had ran out of off-map by then. This Strelki going to have to make sure it holds position rather than keep jumping back in the building. Boston's coming in with a bombing strike. Not going to be able to stop both of them, even with this 88 getting ammo again. And that's going to do a lot of damage, actually, to the infantry, which is probably the most important part there, because without the infantry, the tanks can't securely push forwards. Although saying that, both of these heavy cover areas are already more or less secure, so the tanks won't be too concerned. Well, that's going to be some pretty nasty off-map there, on top of Gonzo's infantry. The King Tiger also helping out quite a bit. We see the two Panzergrens now pushing back onto the Avtos. Those Avtos, you've got to be very careful because they're so close to surrendering. It really does depend how much damage they can do. Because they are already very stressed, they're going to not be very accurate, and so they won't do damage as quickly as they usually would. That mortar fire coming in perfectly. Oh, nicely done. There you go. That's a flag back for ZZ. Currently mowing down this infantry. Once he kills those infantry, he gets this flag back as well. That would be 13 to 11. Very close to capturing this flag. Bombing strike coming in from the Focke-Wulf 190 straight onto that 6 health Strelki squad. There it goes. 13 to 11. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. What a crazy game this has been. Absolutely mental. A T-34-85 going to try its luck. Can the APCR penetrate the frontal armor of a King Tiger? Maybe waiting on the IS-2 1943. Currently just killing off the Panzergrens there. Dushka truck just rides forwards. There it goes. Okay, here we have the T-34-85. Can it penetrate? It can! The T-34-85 finally cleans up the first of the 3 King Tigers. Damn. The one on the bottom side is still alive here in the center. We have the one on the top of the hill, but that is the first one going down. And those King Tigers have provided so many problems for Gonzo throughout this game. Ju-88 coming in for the bombing strike onto the Strelki as well. And there you go. That's the Strelki squad completely dead. I don't think Gonzo has any more Strelki to push onto the bottom side. Just has his tanks on the top side here that he's going to continue to try and push with, but with ZZ still bringing in Panzergrens and Panzerfaust, I think ZZ might just have this in the bag. Also making a bit of a push into the center now with the 233. Doesn't have any ammo on the 233 though, just using that for recon purposes, I presume. Could very easily give that some ammo. There is the Opel munition truck there, but nope. The P-39 almost took that out. Almost. Can come around for another strafing run. Probably will do so. Panzer IV-H engaging the T-34-85 from a distance there. That was a moving shot. Probably not going to hit. Can the T-34-85 finish the job? One more shot probably. Oh, misses. That's unfortunate. SPW-233 does go down. Nice bombing strike there from Gonzo. Going to be holding the ground in the center. But Gonzo really needs to find another flag. Can he get his influence over this one? He can. It's going to be 12 to 12. Oh my. Both players now surely very low on infantry availability. So it's going to come down to the use of these tanks. Is that a 2-3-1 taking care of that? No way. Did that just kill the T-34-85 1944? Surely that was the Panzer IV getting that kill. Must have been. Anyway, Zudrop coming in, looking for the strafing runs onto the Panzergrens here. But of course the Panzergrens have fallen back. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 37mm might be able to do some HE damage to the King Tiger over time, but not really too much to make a difference. Or enough to make a difference. The mortar carriers being like almost the last units that ZZ is bringing in really does show something about how this game was played. It's really, really interesting that like airplay was ignored completely on both sides. Like both players freely using aircraft and just no anti-air coming onto the field till quite late into the game. And now we're seeing the artillery, like the direct fire artillery, coming in very late as well.
direct fire artillery coming in very late as well.
2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's moving forwards here. 2 minutes left. Will ZZ manage to take a game from Gonzo? King Tiger currently chewing up the 37mm AA that's We've just seen off-map move used for the most part throughout this engagement. T-34-85 there. Currently engaging the Panzerguns with Panzerfaust. In the future, these T-34-85s will be much better at taking care of infantry in the current build of the game. These now have 2 machine guns available to use, which is cool. So they'll be much better at killing Panzerguns. Those 2 Panzerguns going to get killed by bombing strikes. Nicely done. 12 to 12 once again for Gonzo. Well, looks like ZZ's going to sacrifice some Panzerguns to get a few more tickets from Gonzo. My. This is kind of crazy right now. And the Cobra's going to come in for the strafing run. And down they go. 12 to 12 again. Wolf 190 coming in for the bombing strike onto Gonzo's infantry. And the Ju-88 as well. Oh, if that gets the kill, I think the King Tiger can just drive forwards and get the cap. Here as well, the Panzer IV might be able to just kill off the second T-34. This one went down. There is the AT gun though. The AT gun might be able to get the penetration there. Looks like the Ju-88 missed its bombing strikes in the mid. Oh, it's coming down to every last move right now. Panzer IV goes down. Another T-30 or IS-2 actually coming in. That's going to be engaging the Panzer IVs at a distance. Oh, it's just actually crazy how close this is. Now Battlefeuer going to be used as a last-ditch attempt. And Panzergrenführer, again, it's just showing the lack of use of leaders throughout this game as well. It's like all of his leaders coming in at the end, no use of the like commandant. It's kind of crazy. This has been such an interesting game, but I can't help but feel that Gonzo is just delaying the inevitable right now, because his bottom side, ZZ has so many more forces. And in the center, he's only got to really drive the King Tiger onto the point and he wins. On the top side here, this point's actually very vulnerable as well. ZZ's just got to decide where he wants to win the game. Apparently not on the bottom side at the moment as the IS-2 moves forwards. Does take a transmission damage. Well, this King Tiger currently reversing from the engagement with the T-34 1944. Zuchok coming in for the strafing run onto the Battlefeuer. Gonna pin down one. Yeah, it looks like Gonzo is just doing his best to hold on where he can. Oh, these Panzergrenführer, all of them got killed, except one. All the leaders going down in their Kubels for the Schwimmwagens. These are. One remains. And Zvedka now being used from Gonzo. Everybody throwing their last units at each other right now. Insane. Oh no, that's a bad loss for Gonzo. Razvedka go down before they unload to the Panzerfaust. Panzergren's going to be able to engage that Razvedka in the open. Oh, the MGs there could have done so much more damage. Alright, here we see the King Tiger. He's rolling forwards. He's going to cap it, surely. The T-34 on this ridge has died. So I think ZZ's feeling confident that he can sit on top of this flag. Or that T-34-85 on the hill. It had one shot and it missed. The King Tiger reigning supreme. And with that Starkey gone down, that's going to be a captured point. The Cobra though coming in for the strafing run. Gonzo trying so hard right now to hold on to this game. T-34-85 goes down to the Panzer IV. To Razvedka don't hold the front line. The 45mm will have to move forwards if it wants to cap that. 15-9 in favor of ZZ. That's the end of the game. Incredible stuff. 62 minutes, 35 seconds. That is game. Damn. The first game between ZZ and Gonzo in this best of 3, guys. Incredible. Incredible game. ZZ 6,170 kills to 4,975 losses. I think ZZ, again, I said it already, he made a meal out of that push on the bottom side. He really did. If he'd been a bit more decisive, a bit more aggressive whilst Gonzo was pushing on the top side, then he could have ended that game so much easier and so much quicker. But he just unfortunately did not take advantage of that. But Gonzo managing to stay in that game for so long somehow, and it just goes to show like his aggression can really bring the attention of his opponents away from them, from where they need to be, that is. But yeah, let's have a look at some of these kills, see if there's anything outstanding going on. I don't think there was too much on the side of Gonzo that really did terribly well. That IS-2 1943 on the top side lasted for a very long time, so that got quite a few kills onto the Panzer IVs at least. But the rest of the stuff really trading how you would expect throughout the game. As for losses, well, the Focke-Wulf 190s did really well with those bombing strikes. The 233s there getting a lot of value, and of course the King Tigers really just paying themselves off and holding position in map so damn well throughout that game. You can see how many kills those King Tigers got. That one Panzer IV actually got quite a lot of kills. Managed to kill 3, make that 4 T-34-85s. Incredible. Incredible. ZZ bringing these Panzer IVs in at 2-star veterancy seemed to pay dividends for him throughout the game, definitely. And ZZ's off-map seemed to be more effective than the use of off-map on the side of Gonzo. But either way, I'm going to have to go and take a little break now because my voice is wrecked, as you guys can probably hear throughout the entire commentary. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Really, really nice first game from ZZ and Gonzo. ZZ, of course, taking the victory. Going to put him 1 up in this best of 3. Gonzo going to have to win 2 games in a row if he wants to bring it back and move on to the final. But ZZ sitting 1 up against Gonzo is a nice place to be. So we'll have to see how fast and furious the next games are. But that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.